Okay, here it is. This is a new thing on the PathandTarot channel. Is we're bringing back the Wild Unknown Tarot by Kim Kranz. A really good tarot deck, in my opinion. It would be if I it would be the third tarot deck that I acquired as I began my path of tarot reading. And it came from like a really good suggestion too. I reached out to a blog once, and I expressed like, hey, I'm kind of lost. Like, what I've got these two tarot decks, and I'm learning. What do you think is a really good deck that I can look at next? And the Wild Unknown was suggested, and I'm thankful for that because it's a fantastic deck. As you can see, the images cycling through here, they're fantastic images. They're really unique. And I like this tarot deck a lot. The physical one I have is sort of it's a little bit more beat up now that I've used it for a while, and it's been digitized here so that we can use it within Orphalese Tarot. And I appreciate that Kim Kranz has allowed creators to use the deck. Images as you would use a tarot deck, right? That's the really cool thing about the tarot, is that it's a multifaceted art form, right? You've got the deck creator, the artist. They can be the same, right? Someone who can craft the words, that person can do all three, right? There's like a publisher involved, possibly. There's a printing company involved. The design of all of it, someone that can just put it together. Again, one person can do all that too, right? But and the final end of it is it's the people who use the deck. That's an art form too. It's a performative art. The tarot readers are like the last piece of the art puzzle in the tarot deck. So I think that's a really neat thing to recognize. So without further ado, let's do a tarot reading with the Wild Unknown. We'll leave it open-ended. But why don't we... We can leave it open-ended to an extent, but why don't we ask this? Why don't we ask what will come of, what will be the result of using the Wild Unknown deck here in this video? Let's do that. Because that's, I'm a little scared, but why don't we, oh, interesting. We got the Six of Wands. That's interesting because this is the first time we're using the Wild Unknown deck here on the channel, and it's almost as if this question is almost the act of leaving behind maybe stale old branches, the stale old content of this channel. While I'm sort of offended in a way, because for me it's still very new, and I'm still sort of thinking in my head like, like what can I do to like come up with different ideas, do different types of tarot readings, 60 seconds of tarot, the PathandTarot suite, beat the devil, all that kind of stuff. But in a way, that this is a really good message for me, because it's like the Wild Unknown is saying, break free of that. Break free of the staleness. So it's almost as if I'm trying maybe a little too hard to come up with stuff, and it's just saying like, hey, be a butterfly, float free. Or that I've gone through a phase of that gestation, right, that occurs as the butterfly in the cocoon, and now I'm free of all of that to do whatever feels natural. I think that's a good message. Now what we can do, we can ask, what is the most natural thing to do next? To be the magician, to focus on, master all of the elements. Yes, that's good. And so the next question I can ask is, how can I master these elements? Let's get that out. And see, we'll stop right there for just a quick second. That's a way, the way I'm doing it right now, the way I'm reading the cards, is I'm allowing the lead in to the next card as I'm getting clarification, right? So you can start off with almost like, you know, something somewhat open-ended, and you can kind of focus in on it through your next questions. Because it's all about your intention. That's all it is. Focus. So for me to master the 4 elements, I must focus in on something. So the wands are quite literally on that card. So maybe it's the element of fire, the transformation. So it is, maybe it's the focus of transformation here with the wands. So the wands have sort of balanced themselves out. 2 and 6. 2 and 6 are divisible, right? Or they're part of, like, you know, 2 times 3. So that's kind of cool. 1, 2, and 6. That's a great message. I like it. Thank you, Wild Unknown, for that. Wow. So focus on wands, magician, breaking free. Yeah. Well, that was great. That kind of turned in, it just kind of came out of nowhere, honestly, because I was very much willing to just leave it open-ended like that, but I ended up asking a question about myself and sharing that with all of you. So I hope you could take something from that, borrow it if you want, because you can share it. You can share all this here. It's open energy to put back into the collective unconscious. So become a magician. Focus on those skills. Get those skills improved, and to do that, you got to focus in on things one at a time. Don't try and do it all. Focus on the first thing that is in front of you. If it's related to the wands, then so be it. If it's something else, just go for it. And I'll see you in the next tarot reading.